the Canon IV Mobile Mini Printer. Print on the go from your phone, no film, no ink. Stick around. Hey everybody. So this little guy, my wife actually asked for her birthday. So she hasn't even gotten an opportunity to open and play with it yet, but she graciously allowed me the opportunity to open it up and test it prior to her getting to do some crafting stuff with it. Her goal was to get a little tiny printer that she could pack around with her, that she could use her mobile phone for, to print little tiny prints that she could use for crafting projects. Now, everybody loves little tiny printouts. Instamatic cameras are making this weird comeback. In fact, my daughter actually got an Instamatic camera for her birthday this last year in April. So it's a big thing. People are wanting things a little more tangible. And this little printer, this little guy right here, set you back $100, will print out little tiny 2x3 inch pictures. And we're going to give you better views of these things later on. But it prints these little guys out. They have sticker backs that you can peel off and stick somewhere. If you're a teen, I remember when I was going to high school way back when, we would take pictures and things and tape it down to our peaches or our books. And I could see teens now exchanging these little snapshots, much like a photo booth, for example. Maybe you would print these little guys out. But my wife wanted something that was decent, that didn't use any ink, because nobody wants to replace ink, and the paper couldn't be anything crazy. And let's be honest, if you want to print out a picture, it's kind of a pain. Yeah, you could go to Walgreens. I went to Walgreens to actually print these same pictures using a Walgreens printing service. You could see the quality of a professional printout versus this little printer's printout on the ZINK paper that were being used here. So we're going to take a look at both of those, but before we get started, let's open this little guy up and take a look at exactly what's included, shall we? So obviously I've already opened it and taken some pictures with it, but the container itself, there's not much to see here. This printer is actually really, really cute. It comes in 3 different colors, and this, my wife happens to like the mint green. There's not a ton going on here. It is a very simple product. This is something anybody can use, and that is kind of important. As long as you can pair up a pair of Bluetooth headphones, that's all it takes to pair this guy up to your phone and use the app. Also included, you do get a package of 10 ZINK pictures for free. In other words, these are the little pieces of paper. We're going to look at those again that this printer prints out. And you get 10 of those included. This is how hard the setup guide is. 1, 2. Download the app. And that's pretty much it. A little warning sheet here. And this is a charging cable. This is micro USB. Sorry, it's not USB-C. I personally am getting a little tired of micro USB at this point because more and more of my devices are using USB-C, and it's unfortunate that this one does not. However, this is only for charging. There's no way you can plug this into your computer and print prints from there. This only works over Bluetooth mobile. So it's a very, very finite device. Let's get this stuff out of the way here, and let's take a better look at this particular product. To open this guy up, you just slide it down. You just slide the top, and it pops right off. There's not a whole lot to see, a little spring to push the paper down. And then I'll just pour the paper out, and there's the inside of the unit. Again, not much to see. And the little pieces of paper. These are official Canon paper. You can see that on the back. Right? And you put this backside down into the little hopper, right? And then you just slide it back on. So now we've loaded it. The only things that are really of note on this little device are the paper ejection port on the front. On the back, you have a little reset button that you can reset the device with. You have the micro USB power, and of course, you have a little lock thing or something for a handle, a strap, little strap thing that you could put on there. Not included. And of course, on the side, you have the power button. Pairing this up is so simple. Simply hold the button down until the light comes on, grab your phone, open up Bluetooth, scroll down until you see the printer device, and then pair to it. And that's all there is to it. This guy is ready to go. How crazy is that? It's so simple and so easy to use. So the app itself, which we will have some inset video here, the app itself is remarkably similar to any other social media type app you've probably used, the Snapchat, other items like that, where you can add borders, you can add frames, you can zoom in and out of the picture, you can rotate the picture, and do all sorts of fun stuff to prepare the picture for print. So let's actually print something. I mean, that's what you're here to see, right? You're dying to see how this little guy prints out. So I'm going to put this little printer right here where you guys can watch it. I'm going to bring up the app. Had this thing open a million times today. I'm going to bring open the app, which will pull all the photos off of your phone. You'll have to give it permission to do so. And I'm going to bring up this photo of my wife and I attending a wedding. And as I mentioned before, you can, see how well this works out here, you can zoom in and out and rotate. I rather like this. I like the ability to be able to sort of freehand what you want it to look like and how you want it to be without having to use a bunch of UIs or, rotate buttons or anything like that. It actually works out very, very well. Pushing the print button at the top will show you your print queue. In this case, I only have one item in the queue, so I'm going to select it. Oh, I'm not connected to the printer yet. So how do you do that? Click on the little device at the top, select the printer, and it will reach out. I've already connected to it prior to, so there was a little bit of setup, but not much. I now have the item that I want to print, and I can select the print button. You can see that it's queuing. See if I can get the angle off of that, the glare off of there. And here we go. It's 100% sent. Hear it? Oh, you probably hear it better back here by my mic. Here it comes. So this technology is called ZINK, and this paper is specially treated to react to heat. And so there's no ink. You'll never have to replace an ink cartridge, and all you need is the paper. And the paper costs about 50 cents a print, which is expensive. You can get a 4x6 from Walgreens for about 35 cents. But you don't have it right now. You don't have it on the road. You don't have it in the middle of the desert. You're out in Yosemite National Park. You don't have access to a printer right there, or a Walgreens. And there you can see the actual print itself. Now, because I was doing it upside down, I unfortunately didn't get the picture all the way to the top, right? So I kind of self-cropped it out. But it looks pretty good. It doesn't look too bad at all. Now, one of the things that this particular, and I've got some other ones too that I'll show you in comparison to the Walgreens printouts so you guys can see. A lot of the reviews of this product will say that the color looks really, really bad. You should do pre-processing on your photos first before you print them. It's not very detailed. I'm telling you, I have no problems with these prints, none at all. And when I show you the actual prints from Walgreens versus these, you're gonna probably agree with me. This looks really, really good. Now, I did all of my research ahead of time because my wife said she wanted a portable printer, and I said, yeah, let me do the research. Let me find out what works out. Fuji's got one. HP has one. Kodak has one. This was overall the highest rated of the mini portable Bluetooth related printers. So I have no qualms whatsoever in saying that I bought what universally is considered the best one. And of course, it's really hard to take other people's photos where you don't have comparison shots against the originals versus the ones that are on your phone to see just how well they work out. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna take actual prints that I went and picked up from Walgreens. Listen, 1 hour printing is great. I remember you had to drop off a roll of film and come back in 2 weeks to get it. But we're going to take a look at actual photos versus these photos versus the camera photos themselves. And we will check out and see just how good these little guys print out using no ink whatsoever, using something called ZINK. Let's print out one more. And so I'm going to go back, and this time I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera here, so that I actually get the right thing. So originally, downtown in Phoenix, there are a series of walls that are often used by artists to create pieces of art. This is when they did a David Bowie retrospective, and they paint these amazing sort of murals onto these walls that are sort of designated for artist use. I don't know exactly how that all works out, but I got this great one of David Bowie from Labyrinth. So we're going to go ahead and print this one out, and I've zoomed it out to where it fills out the entire frame, so there shouldn't be any white tops or bottoms here this time. And again, you can look at the app yourself. You don't even have to have the printer to go in and play with it. You can download the app right now without having to hook a printer up and do everything that I'm doing here outside of doing the actual printing. So you have an opportunity to see if the app is actually doing what you need it to do with the frames and the printing of the text on it, all that sort of thing, color correction. It's actually a pretty decent app. So I'm going to go ahead and send this to the printer as I did before. And we will see how this looks. And you can see that the printer is flashing, denoting that there is data being sent. And it is printing. So while this is printing, I'm not going to hold it up so you can see it, but maybe I'll put it back here where you can watch it come out. So one of the selling features of the software of this particular printer is the ability to tile. Now, I'm not going to dump a bunch of my wife's brand new paper out here, but I will show you on the app how this tiling feature works. And when I say tiling, it means you can take a bigger picture, multiple pictures, whatever, and create a collage of prints that will show the picture off in a bigger manner. And so I'm going to let this go ahead and finish printing. And I'm going to get a different picture from my collection here. All right, so now what I've done is I've split the picture of myself and my friend Chad into 9 separate pictures. As you can see, it's tiled, and if I go to actually do the print, you'll see that my queue is now filled with 9 different images that will print. Once they all print out, of course, they'll all go together to make a big collage of the original picture. Now, from what I understand, most, if not all, the other products out there of this nature do not offer that as a feature. So tiling is sort of unique to the Canon Ivy printer. So if that's the sort of thing you're looking to do, and my wife, when she saw it, she was absolutely delighted. Again, she's an artist, she's a crafter, so she's got specific plans for this particular product. And we're going to show you some of those at the end of the video, what she's used this printer to create for herself as a crafter. So here we go. Here's a look at our David Bowie picture. All right, everyone gets a good look. All right, so I now have 4 sample pictures. We're going to take this aside. I've got 4 sample pictures to look at. I'm going to put them in front of me, and I'm going to grab the camera. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to show you what the actual prints look like against these 4 photos themselves. So let's have a look at these prints. So as you can see, the little one is the one that we actually printed from the ZINK printer, the Canon Ivy. And then here is the print from Walgreens and the original photo from the phone. I gotta say, considering there was no ink involved here at all, I find that actually remarkably good. Most of the reviews that I saw that were of a negative aspect said that the color reproduction wasn't very good. And I'm gonna have to argue with that and say that it is pretty good. And I chose these pictures because they offer a diversity of color. So you can see that the blues, listen, they pop a little bit better on the print, absolutely, but the blue still looks like blue in the ZINK picture. Now we have this one, myself and my wife. You can see that the color replication is actually pretty good. The ZINK, the reds, the blue, and the tie, they look pretty good, and then there is the original. Next up is my son and I in this photograph. Again, blue shirt. My son has a nice green shirt on, which makes it very good. There's a nice, there's a sort of an orangish, reddish color in the background there. And if you take a look at the original photo, it looks pretty good in the photo from Walgreens. And look, the red's a little washed out a little bit. The green pops pretty well. The blue pops pretty well. Overall, I am very pleased with that small photo. But last but certainly not least, our David Bowie photo of the rock wall mural. And here's the original. Now the colors are very, very muted here anyway. I was hoping for more of a look at the quality of the reproduction. There's a lot of fine hairs in there from Bowie's head. and there's some different lighting and some shadowing in there. So let's take a look at the Walgreens photo. If anything, I think the color reproduction from the Walgreens photo is a little on the orange side. Look at my face. Bowie looks pretty good. Now let's take a look at the reproduction. And yes, the ZINK one suffers the same thing as the print. I've got sort of an orangish looking face going on where the original photo doesn't really look like that on the phone. Now let's take a look. We'll zoom in a little bit more for detail here. You would think that with such a small resolution printer you would lose a lot of detail, but you really don't. We look at the actual print, to the ZINK print, to the phone. So what did you guys think of this little printer? I am truly astounded that the picture quality that we got off of this non-ink specialty paper printer actually turned out. I'm very pleased with it. I think my wife is going to be very pleased with it. Now that the review is over, I can turn this over to my wife to do some serious crafting, and we're going to take a look at some of the resultants of her crafting right after this video if you want to see how she uses it in her passions and her hobby of crafting. So again, this is the Canon Ivy. It costs about $100. You can get it on Amazon. We'll have a link below, of course. As usual, affiliate links do support the channel. We appreciate it. I'm sure somebody will claim that I am only reviewing this product so that I can put an affiliate link in the description below. Farthest from the truth. My wife asked for a device just like this when I did the research, and I'm sharing that information and those findings with you in this video. So stick around, take a look at some of my wife's work, and as usual, thanks so much for watching. Please share the video, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Take care, everybody. And now we're back a couple of days later, and my wife has actually used her little Canon Ivy printout to create this very cute little resin shaker. And you can see the picture that we had used from behind. And lots of little goodies floating around, and then she sets the resin. I don't know. She's a crafter. This is what she does. And there you go. So there is a great little use of the Canon Ivy printer to make these little portraits or make a little shaker for projects. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks again so much for watching.